Hello, my dear students. Myself, Dr. Pitambar Humne, founder Botany for You, and working as Professor and Head Department of Botany, Dharampet MP Dev Memorial Science College, Nagpur, Maharashtra, India. I welcome you all in this online platform for the students of Life Sciences Botany for You. Friends, if you are new or not yet subscribed our YouTube channel, then kindly like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel Botany for You. If you want to associate with us through the Telegram group, then the link is given in the description. Through that, you can join the Telegram group and also take the advantage of the different lectures and career opportunities in life sciences in India and abroad, and also the assistance of the literature in the form of PDF. In our last lecture, we have seen the photosynthetic pigments, in which we have seen the structure of leaf, presence of the chloroplast, presence of the different pigments which are responsible for the absorption of the light. And also, in introduction to photosynthesis, we have seen the complete process of the photosynthesis is classified into the two parts, that is light reactions and dark reactions. So in today's class, we will see the light reaction in the form of absorption of the light, then utilization of that light energy or the radiant energy for the formation of ATP and NADPH2 molecules. So such a type of the process in which there is a formation of high energy phosphates in presence of light, that is known as the photophosphorylation. So let's see today's topic, that is light reaction. Earlier we have seen 6 times CO2 plus 12 times H2O in presence of light and chlorophyll forms C6H12O6 plus 6 times H2O plus 6 times O2. And also already seen that this oxygen which is released in the process of photosynthesis, that comes from the water and not from the carbon dioxide. This complete process of the photosynthesis is carried out into the two steps. Number one is a light reaction and number two, that is a dark reaction. So today we are going to see the light reactions. If we see the light reactions, they are classified into the different steps. Number one, that is the absorption of light energy, then transfer of light energy, then activation of chlorophyll A, then photolysis of water and electron transport and production of assimilatory power, that is the ATP and NADPH2. So first up, that is the absorption of light energy. Earlier we have seen inside the leaf in the mesophyll cells there are the presence of the cell organelles, that are the chloroplast, and inside this chloroplast there are the presence of a granum or the grana, which are made up of the stacking of the lamellae or the thylakoids. And in these different lamellae there are the presence of the quantasomes, that is the granular structures containing the different pigments. And these pigments which are present in the quantasomes or in the membrane of the thylakoid, they are involved in the absorption of the light energy. Earlier we have seen the absorption spectra of the different pigments which are associated to that of the process of photosynthesis. It means that the different pigments which are involved in the process of the photosynthesis are responsible to absorb the light of the different wavelength. So all these pigments which are present in the quantasomes or the chloroplast, they are collectively considered as a photosynthetic pigments. Out of that, the chlorophyll A is considered as a reaction center, while rest of the pigments including the chlorophyll B, C, D, E, F and the carotenoids and the phycobilins, they are known as the accessory pigments. So this chlorophyll A is involved in the absorption of the light as well as in emission of the electron, while rest of the pigments that we are considering here, the accessory pigments except chlorophyll A, are known as the pigments which are only responsible for the absorption of the light and not for the emission of the electron or the excitation. So second one, that the transfer of light energy, means here these are different pigments which are present, they are considered as a antenna complex, as they are responsible to receive the radiant energy, that is the sunlight. So these different pigments, when they absorb the light, they transfer this light energy to the other pigments, and finally that light energy or the radiant energy is transferred to the pigment, that is the chlorophyll A, and that is known as the reaction center. Why it is known as the reaction center? As I already told you, that it is involved in emission of the electron or the excitation, and hence it is known as the reaction center. So in this way, after the absorption of light energy, there is a transfer of light energy to the chlorophyll A. Later on, there is a activation of the chlorophyll A, and when the chlorophyll A activates, it donate the electron, means here there is a oxidation process, and hence the chlorophyll A leaves the positive charge on it when it emit an electron from the ground state to the excited state, that is the energy rich electron containing the radiant energy. At the same time, during this process, there is a photolysis of water. Earlier we have seen that this oxygen molecule which is released during the process of the photosynthesis, that comes from the photolysis of water. So during this process, here there is a splitting of the water molecule in presence of the light, and hence it is known as the photolysis. Photo means the light and lysis means to break. So the water molecule in presence of the light break into the 2 protons, then 2 electrons and half of O2. So in this way, there is a process of the photolysis of water. Later on, there is a electron transport and production of the assimilatory power, that is the ATP and NADPH2. Means this electron which is released by the chlorophyll A, either in the cyclic photophosphorylation or the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, here the energy which is present in this electron that comes from the radiant energy or the sunlight is used for the formation of the ATP molecule from ADP and inorganic phosphate, as well as for the formation of NADPH2. So in this way, here the light energy is absorbed by the different pigments and is used for the formation of ATP and inorganic ATP and NADPH2, and hence the process in which the high energy phosphates are formed, that is in the form of the ATP molecule, that is known as the photophosphorylation, as this process is carried out in presence of the light, because the formation of ATP molecules is known as the phosphorylation, and if it is carried out in presence of the light, then it is known as the photophosphorylation. And during this process, there is a transport of energy rich electron from one pigment to the another or the cytochromes, and hence it is also known as the electron transport. Now here you can see the lamellae or the thylakoid, or actually it is a granum. So On the membrane, there are the presence of different pigments in the form of the granular substances which are known as the quantasomes. So on it, here there are the different pigments which are responsible for the absorption of the light, and then there is a transport of electron through the electron chain, and finally this energy is used for the formation of the ATP molecules as well as NADPH2, and hence it is known as the phosphorylation or the electron transport. Now this process that we are considering here, the photophosphorylation, that the process of the phosphorylation in presence of the light, or the process in which there is a formation of the high energy phosphate in presence of the light. So it is classified into the two types. Number one, that is a cyclic photophosphorylation or the cyclic electron transport, and second one, that is the non-cyclic photophosphorylation or non-cyclic electron transport. So when we are considering the difference in between the cyclic and the non-cyclic, if the electron is emitted from a one particular place and if it again come back to its original place, then we can consider that it is a cyclic process. But at the same time, if the electron is emitted and after that if it is used somewhere for the formation of the different energy, high energy phosphates or the assimilatory power, then such a type of the process is known as the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So step by step we will see both these processes, that of the light reaction, that is cyclic photophosphorylation, and the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So in a cyclic photophosphorylation, you can see here there is an involvement of the pigment system 1, and in a pigment system 1 the reaction center is P of 700, that is it is a chlorophyll A having the ability to absorb the light at or below 700 nm, and hence it is known as the P of 700. So when this pigment system 1, that is the chlorophyll A and the other accessory pigments, so all these pigments will absorb the light including the chlorophyll A and later on transfer it to the chlorophyll A. So the electron will be released, because here now the electron from the ground state will be expelled to the excited state. So in this case we can say that this is a energy rich electron, and if we see this energy which is present in this electron, that comes from the light or the photon which are absorbed by these pigments, and hence first of all this electron when emitted from the pigment system or the photosystem, first it is absorbed by the ferredoxin reducing substance. From the ferredoxin reducing substance there is a transfer of the electron to the ferredoxin, and in this way through a chain of different cytochromes it reaches to the plastocyanin. During the transport of the electron from ferredoxin to the cytochrome B6, here there is a release of the energy from this electron, and this energy is used for combination or of ADP and inorganic phosphate, and the ATP is formed. So we can say that here the energy which was absorbed by these different pigments during the cyclic photophosphorylation is transferred to the ATP molecules. So now this is a chemical form of the energy. So we can say that here the radiant energy or the sunlight is converted into the chemical energy. At the same time, when the electron passes from cytochrome B6 to cytochrome F, then again there is a formation of ATP molecules from ADP and inorganic phosphate. Again it is a chemical form of the energy which is formed by utilization of the radiant energy. In a different cases, the formation of the ATP is different. Either there is a formation of ATP molecule in between the ferredoxin and cytochrome B6, or formation of ATP molecule in between cytochrome B6 and cytochrome F, or in certain cases there is a formation of ATP molecule at both the places. So when this electron again transported, it will reach the plastocyanin, and this is depend upon its redox potential, so that finally it reaches again the pigment system or the photosystem 1, that is the chlorophyll A P of 700, and hence after releasing the electron from the pigment system 1 or the photosystem 1, there was a creation or of the hole. So this hole again is filled up with the electron which is donated by the plastocyanin to the pigment system 1, and hence as the electron is expelled from the photosystem 1, again it come back to its original position, that is the photosystem 1 P of 700, and hence it is known as the cyclic electron transport. Or in this process there is a formation of the ATP molecules, that is a phosphorylation, and this process is carried out in presence of the light, and hence it is known as the photophosphorylation, and the electron is again come back to its original position, and hence it is known as the cyclic photophosphorylation. So in this process of the cyclic photophosphorylation, here there is a utilization of the light, that is the absorption of the radiant energy or the sunlight, and conversion of radiant energy into the chemical energy in the form of the ATP molecules from ADP and inorganic phosphate. But if we see the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, you will find that here the photosystem 1. So photosystem 1, when absorb a photon of light, and the electrons are removed from the PS first. So these are initially absorbed by the ferredoxin reducing substance, and if from the ferredoxin reducing substance it is transported to the plastocyanin, then from the plastocyanin again it come back to the original position, and such a type that we have already seen, that is a cyclic photophosphorylation. But if from the ferredoxin reducing substance the electrons are absorbed by the ferredoxin, and from the ferredoxin it is absorbed by the NADP, and there is a reduction of the NADP into NADPH2 through an enzyme, the ferredoxin NADP reductase. So at this time we can say that these two electrons which are emitted from the photosystem 1, they are used for the formation of NADPH2, and at the same time there is a utilization of the two protons which comes from the photolysis of water, as we have seen earlier. Now if these two electrons are used for the formation of the NADPH2, here there is a creation of hole at the pigment system 1, that is P of 700, or in other word we can say that a vacant space of the electron will be created at the PS system 1. Now if the pigment system 2, that is having the chlorophyll P of 680, or in some other plants P of 690, it absorbs again the two photons of the light or the light energy, it will release the two electrons, and these two electrons are absorbed by unknown pigments, and which is denoted by Q. So this Q is given on the basis of the quenching of the characteristics fluorescence. Q indicates for the quenching of the characteristics of chlorophyll A, and hence the letter Q is very commonly used. From this unknown electron acceptor, the electrons are passed through the cytochrome B6, that is the cytochrome B559, to cytochrome F. And again there is a formation of ATP molecules from ADP and inorganic phosphate. Means the energy released from this electron is used for the formation of ATP molecule from ADP and inorganic phosphate. And finally it reaches the plastocyanin. And from the plastocyanin, again this hole which was created earlier by emission of the electron from the pigment system 1, or the vacant space of the electron which is created after emission of the electron by the pigment system 1, again it is fulfilled. So that vacant space or the hole is filled with the electron which is expelled or emitted from the pigment system 2. And hence we can say that the electron which is emitted from the pigment system 2 is used for the pigment system 1, and the electron which is emitted from the pigment system 1 is used for the formation of the NADPH2. So again we can say that here there is a formation of the vacant space or the hole at the pigment system 2, as its electron is donated to the pigment system 1, that is P of 700. So if we see the process of photolysis of water, in which the water is break into the oxygen, 2 protons and 2 electrons. So these electrons which are released during the photolysis of water are taken by the pigment system 2, and hence this vacant space or the hole of the pigment system 2, that is P of 680 or P of 690, is filled up. And in this way this process with the help of photolysis of water continuously cycled, as it do not contain the original electron come back to its original position, and hence it is known as the non-cyclic process or the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. As earlier we have seen, photo means the light and phosphorylation means the formation of the high energy phosphate, but during this process the electron do not come back to its original position, and hence it is a non-cyclic photophosphorylation, or again it is known as the non-cyclic electron transport. If you see the non-cyclic electron transport, this is the redox potential of the non-cyclic electron transport. Means here when the electron is expelled or emitted from the P of 680, that is the PS2, then it is absorbed by the unknown pigment and transfer it to the plastocyanin. From the plastocyanin, again it is absorbed by the pigment system 1, and again from the pigment system 1 it is transported to the ferredoxin, and from the ferredoxin it is used for the formation of the NADPH. So if you see this redox system of this non-cyclic photophosphorylation, then you will find that it looks like a Z, and hence this process is known as the Z scheme or the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Then the distinguish between cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. We have seen now both the processes. So the cyclic process is associated with the pigment system 1, that is P of 700, and the non-cyclic photophosphorylation is related with that of the pigment system 1, that is P of 700 and P of 680, or in some cases P of 690. Then the electron expelled from the chlorophyll molecule cycled back, that is from the plastocyanin, again it reaches to the P of 700, that is the pigment system 1. But in case of the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the electron expelled from the chlorophyll molecule is not cycled back. Its loss is compensated by the electron coming from the photolysis of water that we have seen. The electron is absorbed by the pigment system 2, that is P of 680 from photolysis of water. Then the photolysis of water and evolution of oxygen do not take place in the cyclic photophosphorylation, but the photolysis of water and evolution of oxygen takes place in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Again, the phosphorylation takes place at the two places. We have seen the formation of the two ATP molecules during the cyclic photophosphorylation, while in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation it takes place only at one place. And NADP is not reduced to the NADPH2. So here this is only carried out in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So friends, I am very much confident and hopeful that this lecture will be helpful to you in understanding the mechanism of the light reaction. If you will have any doubt or any question, then you can place it in the comment. The proper satisfactory answers will be given. Thank you very much you all for watching this lecture completely. If you like this lecture and if it is beneficial to you, then kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Botany for You. And also press bell icon for the alerts of every lecture to be uploaded on different life sciences titles. And don't forget to join our Telegram group with the link given in the description. Thanks a lot once again.